Hey Richie.
Brother, sorry I'm late, man. I've been running late today, man. Sorry about that.
Well, I got an interview at 5, so we're going to try to do this one quickly then.
Let's blast through it. I've got one as well. Let's blast through it. Let's do it.
Anyway, first of all, how's your heart? Everything okay now with you?
Everything's fine, man. I'm feeling good. I've got medications to take and I've got regular checkups. But apart from that, man, I'm feeling good. I'm playing music. I'm touring. I'm releasing records. So everything's pretty much normal. I'm grateful for that.
That's good. And Elegant Weapons, when do you start cooking this new band?
It was, I've always had ideas flying around and, melodies and song ideas and stuff. But I got in the kitchen and started frying them together around the pandemic time. We had some time, no one was touring. The Priest record was written. We had the stuff, all the creative stuff for the Priest stuff was done. We hadn't recorded it yet, obviously, properly, but it was all written and all the parts were done. So I could as you said, start cooking the new record for Elegant Weapons around then. So I could dedicate all the new ideas to this record. So it was around the pandemic time, really. But as I said, there was songs kicking around before then, but I got them all together during the pandemic. And did I have songs? Did I have an EP? Did I have a record? Did I have a band? Did I have a band I could tour with? And that's when it started, really.
Yeah. And, this album is more hard rock than what you do with Priest. It has more that vibe. Did you want it to, because you're playing with Priest, you're writing for Priest, obviously you didn't want to make music that would fit Priest with the Elegant Weapons. Would be something that you enjoy as well, but not straight up heavy metal.
I don't know what that means anymore. Like we go out with Priest and we play like Devil's Child and The Rage and, and then we play stuff like Painkiller. Heavy metal for me is like such a vast kind of spectrum. I don't know what it means. I just play music that I like to play now. You know what I mean? But I wanted something. You're right. I wanted something that sounded like its own thing. I think if I came up with something that sounded like a Judas Priest record, there would be no point.
Yeah.
They've been gracious enough to let me write with them and create records with them, so I could have done that with them. But I wanted it to sound like its own thing. And when it started to sound different to a Priest record, then I knew that I had something that I could, push on with and work on.
Yeah. And on these records, we're going to talk about the UFO cover. UFO is obviously an influence on you as a growing up. I mean, people who like music should like UFO.
That's a great statement right there. People that like music should like UFO. I absolutely agree. I love UFO. I love Michael Schenker. I love Phil Mogg, Pete Way. Like all those guys. Great songs. Fantastic musicians, and I was playing around with a few covers to potentially go on the record, and that was one of them, and that just seemed to work within the dynamics of the record. It had a great pacing to it. I could do it fairly faithfully to the original, but change it a bit so it wasn't exactly the same. So yeah, that was one that ticked all the boxes, and I thought, yeah, this sounds good. I love the band, love Schenker. Obviously, with Ronnie coming on board later on, it was another connection with with Schenker at least.
Yeah.
So it made complete sense. But ultimately, I love the band, so I thought I'd put it on there.
Yeah, and the funny thing is normally when a band does a cover, they put it in the end of the record, like as a bonus track or something. But you decide to put right in the middle of the album.
Yeah, I mean, again, I love the band. It just had a good flow. Where it sits on the record. I hope people agree. Maybe they won't, but where it sits, you have a start to an album and like a dynamic as you move through the record. Like a live set, really. When you play a live set, it starts with a certain dynamic, and it might move, through and then end a certain way. An album is the same, and I thought it had a great dynamic where it sits on the record. We'll see if people agree, but if they don't, well, we can't do anything about it now.
It's on it. And, you know, I love UFO. I love Michael Schenker. And I saw Michael Schenker for the first time last year. And, you know, he's still one of the best, if not, you know, the best. Like the way he plays, the sound that he has, the way that he plays, it's so original. It doesn't sound like anyone other than Michael Schenker. You know, it's absolutely amazing. You know, I saw the concert. You know, and it was like, for me, Ronnie wasn't on that tour, but you know, I was there for Michael Schenker. I didn't care who was singing. I would be happy.
Well, that's the thing. You know, Michael Schenker is a masterclass, really, in rock guitar. You know, he's not overly fast or technical. He came out. I think it was Michael Schenker's Temple of Rock came out with Judas Priest in the UK back in, I can't remember what year it was. It was the last time we played the UK, so it was a long time ago. And I watched him every night from behind his Marshalls, and I was behind the Marshall speakers, and you know, it was Michael in the spotlight, and it was phrasing and melody and note choice and songs and just technique, everything. It was an absolute masterclass in guitar playing, and just fantastic. Just you know, I can't say no. He's probably, I mean, I'd say definitely my favorite guitar player alive, for sure.
Yeah, he's, you know, I cannot say any bad thing about Michael Schenker because he's just phenomenal on the guitar. And for this record, we had Scott Travis, you had Rex Brown, and soon enough, obviously, the schedules would clash, would be something that probably, you know, you would be aware of. Were you aware that that could happen, even though you recorded with them, that when it comes to performing live, you might not have the chance to play with them on stage?
Yeah, at the time, obviously, I was recording during the pandemic, so we didn't really know, you know, if it was going to, we didn't know if anyone was going to tour ever again, you know, at the time. So it was a case of getting the record down and then seeing what happened from then. Obviously, Rex was doing Pantera again, and you know, we were just down with them in South America, and it was absolutely off the level, crazy, off the charts, crazy. The fans down there were going nuts for Pantera. Scott couldn't do the live dates. That was a bit later on. He sprung that on me. I didn't know that until later on. So you know, but I had to, you know, as you do, you kind of deal with the situation as it happens, really. Yeah. As I said, I knew about Rex, and when I found out about Scott, it was, well, you have to make, you don't quit. You kind of just deal with it and call up some other friends of mine I've got that are fantastic musicians and see if they can do it. And luckily they could. Christopher and Davey came in with me and Ronnie, and oh, by the way, you got a Grogu there. I've just seen the Grogu. May the fourth be with you, by the way. Exactly. So yeah, you deal with the situation and you move forward. As you know, I'm sure there'll be plenty more situations in the future. That's what a band is about, you know, dealing with situations, good and bad, and moving on into the future. So that's what we're doing at the moment. We've got some shows coming up in June and July in Europe, and we're looking forward to doing those with Christopher and Davey. And so yeah, we're looking forward to seeing how the band evolves.
Yeah, and you're playing Portugal, obviously, with Pantera on the festival Evil Live. You're not strangers to Portugal. You play with Priest. You play with Lauren Nares many years ago, as well in a festival. So what can we expect from the Elegant Weapon show? You're going to play all the tracks from the records?
I think we're going to play most of them. There's a couple on there that might not be appropriate for, you know, festivals. It might be a bit long. There's one on there, you know, obviously people who haven't heard the band before, it might be a bit of a tall order to ask people to stick around for an 8-minute song that they've never heard before. You know, it's just not appropriate. If it was our own show or something like that, then maybe. But you know, we've got to. we've got to play the situation appropriately. And also, we've had many people ask if we're going to play some songs from our own, the other bands that we're in. So, we're going to see what happens. If we've got some spare time up there, we're going to pull out a Priest song or a Rainbow song or an Accept song. We'll see. It's going to be some fun up there,
Well, I would be up for any of those anyway.
No, it should be good, man. We're just looking forward to getting out. I love playing Europe. I love playing European festivals, and there's a certain I don't know what the word is. It's not freedom. There's a certain kind of you go to Greece and Italy and Spain and Portugal. There's a feeling in the European festival that's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain what it is. So I'm looking forward to getting out there and playing new songs with a new band that we haven't played before, and hopefully taking some new fans with us,
Yeah. I think here probably the thing is we love music, and we just like to have a good time. And, especially after the freaking pandemic, it's like it might be our last show. So we're just going to enjoy it.
We definitely enjoy it. You know what I mean? Again, you have a way of showing your passion and your appreciation for your love of music. So it's a pleasure to be a part of, and we're just lucky to be coming over and playing some new songs, as I said, with a new band. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and just to wrap it up, you have an interview. I have an interview next, but I'll do my best for us to talk again in Lisbon when you play here. If you have free time, I'm going to be able, so we can have a probably more like 10 or 15 minutes to talk about. But Judas Priest announced for March already, UK and Ireland, some shows in March. Does that mean by that time the new Priest album is going to be out?
Well, that's a good question. I think we don't know. I don't know is the short answer. I think we're almost finished recording it. So once it's recorded, we've got to mix it, we've got to master it. Then we've got to manufacture the thing. I think manufacturing is going to take, as far as I'm aware, manufacturing the vinyl these days takes time.
Yeah.
So as long, we can kind of think, if we finish it kind of around now, the vinyl's going to take X amount of months. So maybe it might be out by then. I don't know. I don't have a definite answer, but it would make sense if there would be a Priest album out around that time. But I can't answer that.
Yeah. And you're going to do the tour with Saxon in the Raya Hip. I mean, doesn't get any much better than that.
Yeah, that's a metal show. I mean, I remember we did some show on the first Epitaph tour that I did with Priest. We were out with Saxon and Motorhead in Europe, and that was a great billing. So it's going to be similar to that, some British bands, some proper metal, and it's a great billing that hopefully we can take further. Maybe if everyone's available, maybe we can take that billing further into other parts of the world or other parts of Europe. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I already booked my flights to Ireland for that week, so I'm going to be there. I booked the flights to be at the show anyway. So
fantastic. I've never played in Ireland with Priest. I played Ireland with Lauren, with Maiden. But I've never played in Ireland, I don't think, with Priest. So that's going to be a first for me.
I saw Priest in Ireland before, but I think KK was still there. I think, it was on the Nostradamus tour, I think, that they played. Well, I think it was with Testament. That tour was with Testament or something. I don't know. I can't, it's been a while. It's been a long time. Yeah, I don't think you were there yet with Priest.
No, never been there with Priest. So it's exciting for me I'm going to go down there and have a Guinness or two, and hopefully remember the songs after.
All right, Richie, thank you very much for your time. I'll try to talk with you again in Lisbon when you play the festival here in June. So, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Thank you, brother. Look forward to it.
Take care now.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.